It's the day after I made the other movie, the 5 parts, and I actually, I started to think that maybe a few more words about how to make a cure permanent. Because that's what you do, you know, it's not permanent. You make it permanent. Because DNA codes are always altering. And so, if you're tolerating a lot of problems in your life, if you're, see, there's these 3 areas, okay, of the immune system. And medical science doesn't know much about them. Which is why they don't cure cancer with any degree of regularity, you know. Like, Edith Huber's doctor gave her a 40% chance of survival, which was why she was crying when she came on the call with me. You know, the minute she heard my voice, she burst into tears, and that's why. That's the kind of thing that upsets people. You can see how that would upset somebody, right? And, well, there's the emotional area, the spiritual area, and the physical area. And these areas control each other, but not directly. Like, you can let yourself slide in the spiritual area for months or possibly years, and you'll still be curing physical diseases with what I've showed you. You know, people really do apply this in all kinds of sloppy ways. And even when they're in a group with other people who are all supporting each other, they really usually let each other get away with murder, and they don't support each other in being all they can be, you know, which is when, you know, your commitment to other people who you do this with has to be that they have no compromise whatsoever. You know, see the word immunocompromised? You know, when you take that and you break it down and you see that it means the person is compromising themselves in various ways in their emotional life, let's say, like they're tolerating, you know, a situation with somebody who they're connected to, or there's all these things they haven't told somebody, or they're, you know, in their spiritual life they're holding back with God, you know. I mean, I was talking to a friend of mine who has cured many things and has never tithed consistently. I mean, he's given various donations, but he's never tithed, you know. And what I said to him is, it's God's money. It's not your money. You know, you've been stealing God's money and spending it on your mother. You know, it's what he did with it, actually. And boy, did he get upset by me. He was upset with me. I mean, he needs to be upset with himself. But at least I don't let people get away with things. I mean, I may never talk to this guy again, you know, and he's a lifelong friend. But think about it this way. Won't I be saving a lot of time if I never talk to him again? You know, I mean, if he decides, like, I'm out of his life because I'm telling him something he doesn't want to hear or whatever it is, you know, that I'm wrong about this, well, fine, you know. But this is what you have to do. You cannot tolerate people being compromising in any way, or yourself. And then you have a permanent cure, because then your DNA won't alter back into being cancer-causing. Now, obviously, this is also something you can test directly for every day. But what we've discovered, I mean, you're going to do this every day for the rest of your life. You know, that's a hard thing for herpes sufferers to let in, I think, because they're 22 and they're upset because they have herpes. But cancer people are a little more substantial. So, you know, they're 40 or 50, so when you say you're going to be doing this for the rest of your life and you've had this brush with cancer, often they'll go, yeah, okay, I can see that, you know, I can let that in. See, they're not as, like, stupid as the young. It's one thing about being young, you know, it ain't all it's cracked up to be, you know. Everybody's, gosh, I wish I was young again. Not me. I don't think I'd want to be the way I was when I was 20 again, okay? I did that. I'm good with that. God. Oh, boy. So there's your permanence. Your permanence is no compromise. Your permanent cure comes from not tolerating bad feelings, bad situations, bad interactions. And, you know, using my friend and my interaction, you know, because, I mean, he is a lifelong friend and he will always be my friend, you know, even if he never speaks to me again. But using my interaction with him as an example, what I walked away from that feeling good because I didn't compromise. I did the right thing and I knew that, and I said the things that were right. So now if the person leaves my space and I'm, you know, never in touch with them again, I will, you know, have that time liberated to be with someone who I can do the right thing with. Maybe you. Well, hey, you know, I've done the right thing with you in this movie, and I may never meet you or you know you exist, but I had this time because I wasn't spending time struggling with this friend of mine, trying to be circumspect and you know, not say anything that would really get him, you know, to reject it, like trying to tell him things in a way that he would accept them, and maybe I'd get a result that way. And I don't really try to get results with people, okay? What I do is say what I see, and this is what we all need to do, with no compromise. We need to stop compromising, because any compromising you do leads to you being immunocompromised, which then will lead to DNA codes altering, because that's what happens, you know. All this stuff goes into your DNA. You know, I was listening to a lecture by a Dr. Oz yesterday. He's a very brilliant doctor, and he's deceptively accessible. You know, he's like, he makes everything really easy to listen to, and which is another talent, you know. But he was saying how depression is real. It's not a you know, just a bad feeling. You know, he was saying that, you know, the myth of depression is that you can just say, well, just, you know, talk yourself out of it, you know, mind over matter, change your mind, you know. But you really can't do that, because depression is, you know, it's biological. And now, of course, you know, I don't know if he knows this, but it's DNA. You know, the way your general emotional state is DNA based. And it was often brought into this life. You know, you didn't get it from your parents. It's not a product of your childhood trauma, okay? You brought it into this lifetime with you. So, anyway, this is your permanent cancer cure. Now, the other thing I should probably add here, again, you know, a sop to the way you probably want to do it, is Vivian Bush came to me years ago. She just popped in for the afternoon, and she had cancer, and we tested for it and took it out, and she has never had another incident, and as far as I know, she never did any more of this. But I don't know that much, but I do know a little because she's a friend of Keely's, and so they're in touch. And as far as I know, she has not done this, though maybe I just forgot some things that Keely told me, because maybe Keely's been doing it with her. So maybe this wasn't a good story to tell. But maybe you can get away with murder. Maybe you can get away with compromising. Maybe you can get away with feeling bad all day, which a lot of people seem to want to do, and they just don't want to put any attention on feeling good, you know? They don't want to remove anything. They absolutely don't have to. And they want to stay sick in every other way, but they don't want to get cancer and die, so they can live in their sickness. And if that's you, you might be able to get away with doing that. So, ta-ta.